Okay, we're back. Anaiah, what's up, man?
Yo, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm talking a lot.
Yeah,
This is
it's I see it's 2 hours in already, but you have
stress.
it's gonna be today and tomorrow.
Yep, I got plenty ahead of me, but it's going good. Everyone's been awesome on so far. So thank you for coming on and
Yeah,
taking
absolutely.
a minute to chat. If you don't know Anaiah, he's a member of Dare, Culture Abuse, the one man band Zulu, an awesome drummer.
Thank you.
This a very cool guy with a cool outlook on everything that's going on, and I'm happy to talk to you. All right, I have to start with Zulu
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I'm I'm a power violence guy like myself, and I
Right,
didn't even know. I mean, I knew you from Dare. That's how I was like, hey, check this
right.
dude out from Dare. He's really good at drums, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I talked to you. I found out about Zulu. It's wild, man. It's really cool. Like
It's
I
hectic.
love
Sure.
I love how forward and outspoken it is. Like direct shit, like closet racist and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it was right in my eye. So, what was the like? Where the motivation come from to do that? Because it's so in your face and it's so like purposely polarizing in the most like punk fuck you way. Like, you
Yeah.
know, where was the idea for this born?
It was just my reality, and like the reality of a lot of other people, and I just wanted to make it into a band. Um, and I wanted it to be as direct, like you said. I wanted to be direct because I'm not like a poet. I'm not much of a lyricist. I played drums in most of the bands I've been in. So the way I write the lyrics, the way it's being pushed out, is like, oh, that's just how I would say it, direct to the point. There's no time for beating around the bush anymore. With people, it's cool if you want to be poetic, but about it. But I'm like, no, I don't have the time for that. And what better sort of music than power violence? It's already in your face. It's fast. It's to the point. It's like it's rough. It's raw. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
it's
love it. I take a poetic approach every once in a while, and then I see shit like this, and I'm like, I should just do this. Like I'm doing it wrong. I'm getting a point. I'm feeling a point here a little more.
it's cool. I like both, but I'm just not nearly. I can't articulate like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I just wanted it to be like this is what it's about. It's very obvious if you don't know what it's about. It's about Black Power, and it's
yeah,
about everything that happens to Black people, especially in this country. You know what I mean? So that was really all it was. That was most important. And I think I didn't have, I wanted to do it with people, but I couldn't find anyone that had the time. So I was like, I'll just do it myself. Like, and then I'll have people play at the shows. But
yeah. Because I've seen like a live video, so you do have like a lineup that can play out with it,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, but everyone plays in different projects. So I'm like, I'm like, all right, it's gonna be too hard to try to get together and write music. You guys are all in like other bands. I play in other bands that are active. So I'm like, all right, I'll do this when I have the chance, and it's easier to do it by myself. You know what I mean?
Sure, sure. I mean, I do. I write a lot of music myself, and
Yeah.
then hit that wall too, where I'm like, I just got to get it out. I'll figure out the rest of it later, And
Yeah.
sometimes that, for me, that release sometimes really helps me work through shit because instead of like going to fucking get into a fight or scream at some guy on the internet and stuff, like I put it into music too, and I know a lot of musicians do, and some of the best songs in the world come from like struggle and a way to release that stuff. So it's like it's awesome that you found an outlet for that. I mean, obviously it's tied into, your family and your upbringing too. Because when I talked to you, you kind of had mentioned that your dad had come up in the punk scene, and like you were kind of born into some of this stuff. So I'm curious. Like, I'd love to hear about. I've never had that experience, and I'd love to hear how that's like shaped you. Like, what did you learn from him? Like if you can like kind of share a little insight on that.
Oh, well, I mean, growing up, he would tell me and my brother stories about the early 80s punk scene. And it really did, like, I guess being that young and being exposed to stuff like gangs and I'm living in LA, you're already exposed to all of that. But hearing it firsthand and hearing it like tied into the punk scene, then like, wow, it's weird to think that, LA had that history of having punks that were gang members and like fighting and killing each other at shows and stuff. Essentially, like to a degree, and I think hearing that at an early age was kind of gnarly. I'm not gonna lie, but it definitely did shape my view on life before I even knew it. And then going on, and then as a like teenager going on tour and touring around the world, that did another thing too, where I'm like, I'm learning so much more than being in school. Kind of
Sure.
weird. It's weird. I mean, I think a lot of people could relate to that. Like, you know, if you tour from early, if you tour in general, you're
Yeah, I
meeting
mean
people.
that
Yeah,
real world education, and I think a lot of people who defend the decisions that the American government makes as being, oh, no, that's correct. We're helping the country. We're doing this. When they go to other countries and they see the perspective and they
right.
see how the world perceives what we're doing, they talk to other people from different walks of life. It really change. It really does change you, and it really
Yeah.
does. It really does make you I feel like a more well-rounded person, and you understand the way more of the world works than what's just in your backyard.
Yeah. Which, you know, I'm grateful to have had that experience, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with me on that. You know,
Sure.
because a lot of people don't get that chance to travel. You think, look at like a lot of American people that just stay in their small town or whatever. They don't. A lot of people don't own passports even, which, you know, that's a reality.
Yeah, of course. To me, there's a lot of stuff that happens in America that people see as like, oh, it's innocent. Oh, it's just like, oh, he's just a joke. It's just subtle. It's just these like little layers of like racism and microaggression and stuff. And then when you go to another country and you make that joke, you could see like how it's like, whoa, like it's inappropriate, and it's like, I've seen like how people react to I can't believe that you talk to someone like that, or you would say that in front of him. And it's like, I've personally learned to check myself on certain things like that, and I've definitely, I'm sure it's a two-way street. I'm sure other countries have different dialects, use different subtle, use different terms and things, but it's definitely something I learned from traveling around, that it's like, man, the circles you run in and what people think is acceptable or funny that is not the big picture. That's not the whole world,
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. So
Yeah. So I had a question for you. Like, your dad being as like part of this punk scene earlier, the generational gap from like where your father came from to what you do today, like, have you talked with him about, I mean, obviously he's aware of what you're doing and stuff. And like, what, like, does he look at Zulu? Does he draw similarities from like, I'm curious to like what it was like back then to be so outspoken and stuff in the 80s. It would be wildly different than today. And I wonder if like you've had conversations with older generations, because I think people having to talk to their parents and like relatives and stuff, a lot of that is happening right now. And I'm just curious what that relationship is like with you, because obviously you're probably in agreement with each other, and you learn from each other, but like, what is the good takeaway from that? Like, how has your relationship there helped you become the person you are,
That's a good question. Well, like you said, it's easy because I don't have to explain to my parents why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I write the music I write, or why, in the case of Zulu, like that's a really gnarly, really in your face record. I don't have to explain myself on that. They get it, especially my dad.
Sure, I understand that. Yeah,
grew up in the time where he's going to shows and it's already like I don't want to say rebellion, but you know what I mean? Like for that time period. And he came from Taiwan. So you can only imagine having folks that are like, whoa, this is kind of out there, that you're doing all this gnarly, you're going to the shows and all this stuff's happening. But so it's good that they understand where I'm coming from, you know what I mean? And they get it. So that makes me happy, because I don't have to explain myself. And
that's good. I think, a lot of people right now are looking for ways to communicate with and discuss some of these uncomfortable issues with friends and family and stuff. And like, I'm glad to see at least one positive story of a father and son who line up. I think it's really cool. So
exactly.
What's talk to me about music for a little bit. Like, you're active in a few projects, and so do you tour with Dare and Culture Abuse? Or I know Dare's sort of just like a Northeast thing right now, but what, like, are you guys planning to go bigger with the band and stuff?
Yeah, we Culture Abuse tours heavily. Dare does tour heavily as well. I do. You know, with Dare, it's a hardcore band, and we're just like didn't expect to get any sort of you don't expect anything. We're just a straight edge band, you know. And then slowly here and there, a lot of people started to we got some recognition. That's dope, and I'm super grateful for that. So I kind of with in the Dare, I just want to see where that goes and like just do as much as I can, but I don't want it to make it like not. I don't want to say serious because it is serious, but I don't want it. It's still at the end of the day, we're a hardcore punk band and we're trying to have fun, and we're
I mean that's why you start those bands, and then they turn into things. But I mean, probably have a few people on here that are like, yeah, I just want to play music with my friends, and now it's like, oh no, I do this for a living. So don't downplay it because there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with a straight edge band becoming one of the biggest bands in the world. I wouldn't mind to hear that nowadays.
I would love it. And you know what? I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. And we're all in it. So we're all down for it. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't, I guess I could announce this now, if you haven't already noticed, we're giving away a test press of OC Straight Edge and a rare tour tee. It's pretty rare because what was that, 2018? Yeah, touring doesn't exist anymore, so these are going to be these are going to be rare items in a few years.
It's like a light blue sort of shirt, but it's just the one of one. That test press is actually not OC Straight Edge. It's actually self-titled.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm blown.
No worries. It kind of all merges. But yeah, that's the self-titled. My personal one I got, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't need the test press. So
well, I appreciate you digging deep for this. And is there anything else like before we jet that you wanted to talk about? Like I definitely, I think you come from a family that's been involved in this scene for so long. You're in so many bands. You're so outspoken. I should shut up. I should probably let you say whatever you want to say right now. So like to everyone who's listening who might be looking for some suggestions right now, take this moment and talk to people for me.
For sure. Well, I was gonna say first off, I've been watching it, and people that have been coming on have been saying some awesome stuff, especially the last one, the dude right before. I'm like, it's amazing because that's where we need these people. We need like white folks to be in the front of it, really leading it. People that aren't black. People that are black, I will say this, are really tired about what's going on. It's exhausting. It's emotionally draining to see all this stuff every day, and to it's good. Don't get me wrong, but it is also like, this has been going on for so long. So like personally for me, to see people take the lead and actually care, that means the world. And so I just want people to be like, really, if you don't know how to go about looking into the resources, you could. It's out there. A lot of people, have been like, they don't really know how to go about it. But I'm like, if you go on social media, there's so many people. Odds are, if you're a like-minded person and if you're in the hardcore community, you're gonna find someone that's sharing that information. And so it's easy to it's good to self-educate too on the stuff that's going on, because you don't want to have to go and ask someone, especially a black person, like how to do it.
I think you're right on that. I think it is strange to ask when that information is there. I think people need to do their homework and their due diligence, and then, Absolutely. And then it's like maybe help organize. For me, a lot of it was the role that I took in this was organizing, because I was like, I thought about how I could be of value. I said, I have a lot of relationships with people. I have people who like my records and friends and bands, and I could put a thing together. I can organize an event, so it's like, for me, it was like, find your worth in this, like find out how you can actually make, the biggest impact, and then work towards that with people from all the communities, and the black community, and, whoever has a positive mind and a positive mentality on how we can move this forward. It's like, find the people and connect, so that's what we did here. And again, man, I really appreciate you coming on. Anaiah, check out Dare, check out Culture Abuse, check out Zulu first. Start with Zulu. I love that shit.
Maybe using your platform too, because like that's, if you have a platform to be able to use that and to use your voice, That's important, you know. And if you don't, you can still, like you were saying, you can still do all the, you know, you gotta talk and have the uncomfortable conversations with your family or people in your life that don't get it, especially like if you live in like New Hampshire or wherever. I'm sure there's a lot you can start with there. You got to start with your community and make sure everyone there is, you know, on board, and then you take it to the next level. But again, you have this amazing platform, and thank you so much for doing this, because that means the world, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate you, and you know, we'll chat soon.
Absolutely.
Anaiah, everybody. Thank you again, man.
Peace, everybody.
All right. That was Anaiah. The soundrink.live website is running and taking donations right now. $10 enters you into our giveaway raffle with a massive amount of items. I'm going to keep saying it. Please donate. It's only $10. I'm going to take a 2-minute break, and then we're coming back with James from Harm's Way, my man James. So I'll see you in a second.